This is the most important video of 2025, and Curtis Yarvin, who wants to turn us into a literal tech monarchy with the CEO king, where we will all be serfs and peasants again.
That is correct. Curtis Yarvin, who is the brain or the philosopher behind the Dark Enlightenment. I wonder if that's where Dark Maga came from, or maybe it's just a coincidence. And for those wondering what the Dark Enlightenment is, it is a neo-reactionary movement. It is anti-democratic and anti-egalitarian. Now, you may be wondering, who is Curtis Yarvin? Well, I will give you a short summary. So, Curtis Yarvin is an American blogger. He is known for founding the anti-egalitarian and anti-democratic philosophical movement known as the Dark Enlightenment. Now, in his blog, Unqualified Reservations, he argues that American democracy is a failed experiment that should be replaced by an accountable monarchy similar to the governance structure of corporations. Yarvin has been described as a neo-reactionary, neo-monarchist, and neo-feudalist who sees liberalism as creating a matrix-like totalitarian system and wants to replace American democracy with a sort of techno-monarchy. Please put a bookmark in that idea of the techno-monarchy, because I will come back to the idea of the technocracy. I also find it interesting that he sees liberalism as creating a matrix-like totalitarian system, and we have this guy right here who is openly declaring how the matrix will be reprogrammed, and how we are living in the biggest vibe shift that the code in the matrix is being patched. I mean, he openly declares what he is doing in their agenda. What more proof could you possibly need? While he wears his tech support shirt, where a lot of people think it means technical support, but in reality, he is talking or thinking about technocratic support. For those who do not know what a technocrat is, it is an individual who wants a technocracy. And a technocracy is a form of government in which the decision makers are selected based on their expertise in a given area of responsibility, particularly with regard to scientific or technical knowledge. I mean, I guess it's just a coincidence that his grandfather, Joshua Norman Hadelman, was an early backer or supporter of the technocratic movement. And as you can see down here, he was the maternal grandfather of you-know-who, and he moved to South Africa because he was a supporter of apartheid. But in summary, a technocracy is a form of governance whereby government officials or policymakers known as technocrats are chosen by some higher authority due to their technical skills or expertise in a specific domain. Now, I want to highlight this down here, how critics charge that technocracies are undemocratic and disregards the will of the people. I found that very interesting because the way this guy is doing what he is doing is that he is hiding behind this idea that he is doing the will of the people.
What all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president.
Now, that statement right there is very telling because it reveals at the core where he is getting his ideology from, and it's from this guy. Dark Maga is the Dark Enlightenment. As we can see right here, how Curtis Yarvin has argued for a Caesar-like figure to take power back from the devolved oligarch and replace it with a regime that is a monarchy, run like a startup. As early as 2012, he proposed the acronym RAGE, Retire All Government Employees. What's going on ever since the new regime came into office on the 20th of January? Oh yeah, that's right. Thousands of federal employees are being forced to either retire or they're being laid off. As you can see right here, this goes back to Curtis Yarvin and his philosophical ideas. Now, we can also see how this idea of retiring all government employees is the first step in a overthrow of the American regime. And as we can see right here, what Curtis Yarvin believes we need is a national CEO, or what's called a dictator. Dictator, you don't say. Which one's going to be the dictator? Or hey, maybe both. How artistic and poetic is this right here with a black and white photo showing off Dark Maga? And for people who have been wondering why JD Vance was picked as the vice president, well, his connection with Curtis Yarvin might be the answer why. Now, we can see right here how Yarvin's ideas have been influential among right libertarians and also influential with prominent investors like Peter Thiel, which he has echoed Yarvin's project of seceding from the United States to establish a tech CEO dictatorship. Now, Vice President JD Vance has cited Yarvin as an influence, saying in 2021. So there's this guy, Curtis Yarvin, who has written about these things, which included Retire All Government Employees, or RAGE, written in 2012. Now, this one right here, really listen here. Vance said that if Trump became president again, quote, "I think what Trump should do, if I was giving him one piece of advice, fire every single mid-level bureaucrat, every civil servant in the administrative state and replace them with our people. And when the courts stop you, stand before the country and say, the Chief Justice has made his ruling, now let him enforce it. And what's absolutely wild is to witness this game plan being rolled out right in front of our eyes, as we saw right here. Breaking news, President Trump says he has ordered the Justice Department to clean house and terminate every single Biden-era U.S. attorney. And not to mention this right here, which should have been extremely concerning to anybody with an ounce of discernment. He who saves his country does not violate any law. Truly spoken like a man of lawlessness. And again, we can see that Dark Maga was really the Dark Enlightenment. Silicon Valley whistleblowers warn how Mr. You-Know-Who hijacking Republicans to control the entire U.S. government. Former followers of the Dark Enlightenment say a planned neo-reactionary hollowing out of government is happening in real time. And how ironic is it that just the other day we have this coming out where we have Mr. Dark Maga wielding a chainsaw. You can't make this up. Now, a lot of people would stop right there, especially those on the left, having you focused on this left-right paradigm. But as a believer in Jesus Christ and a watchman on the wall looking at the times that we are living in, I'm trying to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Or in my own personal opinion, this Dark Enlightenment technocratic takeover is laying the foundation for the beast system where there will be AI governance. And this AI governance will be tied or connected to the Caesar CEO or dictator, which will be the Antichrist, man of lawlessness, son of perdition, the little horn. That is the ultimate agenda, which sets the stage perfectly for the enslavement of humanity. So we have this idea of a technocratic takeover trying to consolidate power into one individual, the CEO, Caesar, dictator individual. You then tie that with AI governance tied together with that individual. We can also speak about this whole new financial system, which will be on the blockchain. You have the whole biodigital convergence connecting us with machine, the transhumanist agenda. We are here, guys. We are here. The times are now. And with this being said, this information is not meant to cause fear or anxiety. The Lord does not give us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. But rather, this information is meant to give you discernment so that you can discern the times that we are in, realizing how close we are, that our redemption is drawing near, and that you can focus your eyes upon the Lord, for he is the author and the perfecter of your faith, drawing closer to him every single day, loving others and abiding in Christ, allowing the fruit of the Spirit to come forth, being salt and light in this evil and wicked world, being wise as a serpent, but innocent and gentle as a dove. With that, guys, I love you all so much. There is no stopping what's coming. It is a runaway train. No stopping it. Who can war against the beast? But what we can do is work on our own personal relationships, our walk with the Lord, and drawing closer to him. That's what we can do. You have power over your own life to draw closer to Jesus. God bless, guys. I love you all so much. And remember, the just shall live by faith.